Hi everybody, it is me again, Jeanette Stein. I'm the creator of AlgebraOneTeachers.com, and I am here to help you prepare to enjoy your summer. So let's get these things out of our way. Let's make sure everything's ready for the new year, and that way when you sit down to relax, nothing is hanging over your head, because we all know no one works harder than we do during the school year, and no one needs a break during the summer. I know you work a lot during the summer, but when you do get those chances to relax, it is so important that you don't feel like you've got all this weight hanging over your head. You truly need to be able to let loose, relax, and have this stuff done. So let's just refresh. We talked about, and hopefully you have this back to school checklist. If you do not have that back to school checklist, right after the video gets done, I'm going to pop a link in there where you can sign up and get the link. If you are part of this 10-day challenge already, and I've been sending you those emails, wonderful, you can find that checklist under day one. So everything's organized on the left-hand side by day, and you can get this checklist, this overall checklist, but under day one. So the biggest thing is in day one, we made a big picture plan. So not only for our classroom, but also for the fall, so that we'd know where we're going, when things are coming up, and we felt prepared for everything that's there, set dates, standards, made just an overall big picture plan, nothing specific. Day two, we looked at our syllabus. So if you got that finished, I would love for you to let me know in the comments here. Let me know where you're at. Were you able to get a rough draft of your syllabus finished, so that as the details come out this summer or right before school comes in, you can just pop in those last minute details and be ready to go? Were you able to find some great comments or quotes to put in there? Were you able to personalize it and make it positive as well, or while you are establishing what you are, your expectations? So that is really, really important. So that positive atmosphere, they know they can come see you, but they also understand your expectations. So that's a really fine line and a really good balance to get. And I did put a good example under the day two notes. So if you're still looking for inspiration there, you can go ahead and do that. Now, day three today, what we're going to look at is being prepared for your open house or your parent night, and kind of making a plan to make sure that's all set. So the first thing I would like you to do is evaluate. Evaluate what is your setup. If you've done this before, take a look and reflect on what went well, what you enjoyed about it, what you didn't enjoy about it. So for me, I've been in a lot of different schools, and I've seen two basic formats. One is where they kind of run through the schedule. You give a short presentation to each hour or period or macro, whatever they call it in your school, and the parents get to shake your hand real quick, and then they're off. The second way I've seen this done is an open house kind of thing, where people can come and go at their leisure. They all wait in line, they shake your hand, and you get the chance to kind of talk one-on-one with each and every parent and or student if they bring them. So there's the two kinds. So take a look at it. If your school's already established what your schedule is going to be, what did you like? What didn't you like? Okay, so, and then let's just work on tweaking those things that you didn't like. Were you running to the copier to make copies last minute? Let's fix that right now. So when you're thinking about your open house or your parent night, let's think about that setup, what you liked, what you didn't like. Do you need a presentation? For me, I liked having a presentation either run automatically if it was that open house situation, and I also liked a presentation even if I had to give a talk. That way I had it all ready for myself, and no matter how busy I was, a lot of times I was running from my kids' open house right to my high school open house where I was the teacher, so I had to switch gears real quickly, and having some sort of presentation ready on a PowerPoint or a Prezi was really, really helpful. And then, do you have to keep track of attendance? For a lot of people, for school improvement plans and so forth, we have to show parent involvement. So think about, how are you going to keep track of that? Does your school do that for you with everybody who signs in? Do you need to keep track with a quick sign-in sheet at the beginning? So figure out if you need to keep attendance. That's something that's really helpful for those school improvement numbers that you've got to show as well as your evaluation. It can really help you out if they're looking for how many times have you been in touch with every parent or something like that. So if you have to create a presentation, the biggest thing, just like your syllabus, so we did this in order on purpose, take pieces from that syllabus where you worked hard to create a positive expectation. Take those snippets and put those into your presentation. I would keep your presentation really positive. Parents want to feel real safe leaving their children with you, especially if their children struggle in math. And so you need to give them those warm fuzzies that you're going to take care of them and help them succeed. If they feel that way, they're going to encourage their child to succeed that much more. They're not going to have you to blame. And so it really sets, it's kind of like that positive spiral, really gets them ready for success. The other thing I would encourage you, if you do have to do a presentation kind of formal where you're standing in front, what ways can you make this interactive? So I would put questions into it. I would kind of make it so, fun for the parents, and keep that all moving. The third thing I'd like you to think about today, and I've put these all on a list for you under day 3, is your online teaching. What is going to be online? Are you using technology at all in your classroom? Or does your school have a no technology policy? I've seen both extremes. If you are using technology in your classroom, I would really encourage you to think ahead how a parent would feel. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and I love when I go in and the teacher's like, we have filters in place. We are keeping your young men and young women safe. We're doing what we can. Can you please talk to them about these things? It makes me feel like they're in touch with what's actually going on with all those different apps and everything else going on. It just makes me feel a little better that the school's doing what they can to protect my child. And I think it just takes a teeny bit and it really makes a positive attitude for parents all the way around. I would also talk about account creation. So sorry, it's very warm here and the mosquitoes were out last night. So I keep fussing. You want to talk about your account creation. You want to be able to create accounts, and maybe there are accounts you even want parents to set up for communication. Make sure you communicate all that with them. And then logins. Does the school have a set login? For my younger children, the password is always the same, and they explain how they set that up for them. So that at home, if we set up accounts, we use that same password, and it makes everything flow a lot easier in the classroom and at home for training them on all of these things. So communicate with parents about the technology, or if it's banned in your district, maybe that's something you need to discuss as well, because we know they all have their cell phones or tablets or whatever, iPods, that are all hooked to the internet. The fourth thing I'd like you to think about is what handouts or materials do you want to give them, and how are you going to give them? So if you are already, let's say on Edmodo or Schoology or Google Classroom, and you're handing things out there, maybe you're giving them that login, you're showing them how to reach you, and you're putting all of your supplies and resources there. If not, you probably want to have those handouts ready. And so I would suggest maybe a syllabus. You've worked really hard on that yesterday. You've used that positive language. So let's go ahead and get that syllabus copied out for them as soon as you're ready with all the last minute information. Maybe a skills list. I know I started handing out my skills list that we talked about on day 1. I started handing that out at parent night, and the parents knew to hold the kids accountable for keeping that filled in and knowing exactly where they were. It really helped me when I called and I said, I'm really concerned they're not getting this. And it's only one skill. It didn't feel as overwhelming to the parents or the student. So that was really helpful to hand out at open house. I also always like to give them a materials list because school in Michigan starts so late. If I give them the materials list when we go back in September, all the sales are done. So I always like to even email that if I get the class list in time, ahead of time. And then any technology information. I like to have a handout for that because some parents are a little slower, some are really savvy with that. But having a handout in a way for them to get help, I send them often to the district helpline, not to me, so that I can do my last minute, finishings up. Not every school district has that, I understand. But think about some options. Could you delegate a student from last year that can tell people how to set up their accounts? or something like that. So delegate that out. The last thing that I would really encourage you to do is make your classroom inviting. And this can be such a pain and a time suck. So I am really careful with this. I am very purposeful that I double duty my bulletin boards and my decorations. So for example, one of my bulletin boards is just for people who have been absent. So that's all the absent work. I've got cute little folders put up. It's a whole bulletin board is taken care of. And I've got now an absent work station where they can come get their information. They know right where it is, and it works out really well. Now, I also created a Pinterest board of a bunch of great bulletin boards because so many of them that we see are for elementary, and we don't want to talk down to our students. So I found some that were really great for secondary. One of them that I really liked was a bulletin board. She starts it, and it's just plain, and she writes the fridge on it. And when kids are proud of their work, they get to put it up on the fridge. And she starts that off in the beginning and sets that example. But what a great way to show kids, to show off kids who are doing excellent work, and just get them seeing what you expect and what's really going to help them succeed right with the first day of class. The other one that I saw that I really liked was kind of like my idea for the absent work, but it had exit slips. And so this teacher put it right by the door. I got it. I didn't quite get it. I'm completely lost. That kind of thing. She had 4 different levels. And it took up a whole bulletin board, but also gave her exit slips a place to go where she didn't have to be, manually collecting them. So I thought that was really, really helpful and a really nice way to do bulletin boards. The word walls are wonderful. And if you're really stuck, fill it with just the paper and maybe get a great quote that you can put up there, and then have the kids, delegate kids to decorate it. I usually would do a couple lunches, and I'd buy maybe those $5 pizzas from Little Caesars, feed them some lunch, let them decorate the bulletin boards, build some relationships while I'm there. And it really worked well to get my room looking really nice. But I would encourage you, just before open house, make sure those bulletin boards are covered, make sure your room looks put together. It just makes everybody feel better, and you'll feel better walking into that room that way. So even if your room isn't ready, and I know that happens, I have been switched rooms so many times, which is great because I don't get the clutter bug going, because we know teachers tend to do that. But what I like to do is just have them all covered with fresh paper before I leave in the spring, and that way in the fall I can come in and just do the fun creative stuff. And kids will often help me with all of that. So if you have some kids to delegate, that is awesome. Now, I would challenge you. I think we've got 300 plus people signed up for this challenge, and I have not done a good job of holding you all accountable. So when you are done kind of creating your plan and have your presentation ready, I want you to come back to this Facebook post. I'm going to link to it as soon as I'm done recording, right in a page on our website in the challenge. And I would love you to come back and tell me that you've gotten this done. What have you gotten done? What do you need help with? Because I really want to help you. And that's why I was doing this on Facebook Live. But in the summer, I've got a couple of you here live, but it's hard. I know it's hard. My times are kind of scattered. But I would love for you to come back to this post and just tell me what you've gotten done from this challenge, and tell me what you need help with, because I would love to hit those questions in the next video. So come back. I'm going to link right to this post at the end on our website. And don't forget, also, if you have been considering joining the membership, we do have a special challenge price. If you log in, you'll see at the bottom in the red box, you can click that and you can take advantage of that special price. It does link right to the special pricing that's just for this challenge. So make sure you get into that. And again, if you have not yet gotten into the 10-day challenge, I'm going to put that link up as soon as this video is done. So have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about that fun stuff, our first day plan. So what are we going to do the first day that kids come in? What activities are great for getting them thinking right off the bat, coming back from summer, and setting that expectation that your classroom is a place where we get work done. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.